To eat or be eaten, food myths, truths, and nutrition. Tonight, on call with the Prairie Doc. Good evening and welcome to On Call with the Prairie Doc. We're serving up food for thought tonight. How important is what we eat to how healthy we are? First, let's take a look at this week's Prairie Doc quiz question. True or false? Egg yolks should be avoided because they are high in cholesterol, which drives heart disease. We'll have the answer at the end of tonight's program. Joining us tonight from Rapid City Medical Center is Dr. Kevin Weiland, a fellow in the American College of Physicians.
Correct.
That's a good group, you know.
I know.
Bunch of internists.
Yes.
So how long is it that we've been doing this? How many years? I think you were on our absolutely first year.
The first year, I think 16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't believe it.
Yeah, and I think the last time you were here with your neurologist wife.
Right. That was quite a tour.
And of course, how much are we giving you per mile for your travel from Rapid City to get out here?
Which is fine because I have an 89-year-old mother, Terry Weiland, that I dearly miss, and I'm going to spend some time with her.
There's
so
a good
it's a good payback in Madison. So it's a great payback.
Well, we're talking about dietary issues, you know, nutrition.
Yes.
So what makes you, I mean, most doctors don't know squat about dietary, right? I mean, is that true?
Well, they should. You know, I was told that doctors don't know anything about nutrition. I said, well, we should teach nutrition to kids. No child left with a big behind.
Yeah.
Seriously. And, you know, we need to get there to start teaching this.
Yes.
Because we have a childhood obesity epidemic. We have
Yes.
an adult epidemic of obesity. It's just too bad that we have to come to a doctor to learn about good nutrition.
So what did you do to learn about nutrition?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I did write a book. I actually wrote a column for like once a month for almost 10 years, and in those columns I wrote about nutrition, and I compiled all those articles, and I decided that, hey, this is evidence-based medicine, this is real stuff, and this is basically what people should really follow.
Yeah.
And the Mediterranean diet.
Right.
Right?
So basically you talked about, let's see this book. You brought a copy? Are they still selling this book?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
This is the Dakota Diet.
Yeah, it's 10 years old, and I think when I revamp it, I will make a few changes, but for the most part, the science that was put into that is still coming to fruition today, you bet.
Right. So, and what mainly were you saying, in summary, not to say that you shouldn't buy the book, you should buy this book, this would be a good idea, buy this book, go to Amazon and you can get it. The Dakota Diet by Kevy
Kevy,
Weiland.
Kevy would be good, yeah.
So,
the nuts and bolts is just good nutrition, basically. What we see in our backyard, the grass-fed animals. Oh my gosh, the studies coming out on grass-fed animals, not just the meat, but the cheese and the milk that comes from these animals, the butter, are phenomenal. Phenomenal in the fact that they have the good fats, low in the bad fats. And there's just other phytonutrients that we are just understanding that comes right out of the nature, comes right out of the grass.
So now that brings to mind meat, because a lot of people turn away from meat, vegetarian, for purposes of health. What do you think about meat?
I love it. I do. Medium rare, I will take it, and I do. And I tell you, the grass-fed meat is a nutrient dense. We're talking about nutrients now. This is why we eat. We should love what we eat. We should season what we eat, and we should eat it and consume it for health. Protein in the meat is wonderful. All the amino acids, the building blocks for good health, come from meat. So and vegetarians don't get all of that. They have to really supplement quite a bit to get that sort of a health benefit. And protein actually helps weight loss because it increases your satiety. You get full faster. Right.
There is, if you go to these restaurants that have calories on their diet, you know, they say that you can only, you know, here is under 350 calories. Right. They all have a steak on it.
Yes.
They have a steak on it.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit. There is protein, we talked about it. There's fat, and there's carbohydrate. What else is there?
The macronutrients, proteins, fats, carbohydrates.
Nothing else?
That's it.
Really, there's tiny bits of vitamins and minerals.
Well, those are phytonutrients. Those are micronutrients. The macro, the big guys. Okay, here's the elements of the universe: carbon, hydrogen, helium, and oxygen.
Okay.
You are carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. You are part of that universe. What's a carbohydrate? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, a macronutrient. What's a polyunsaturated fat? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. What is a protein? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, a little nitrogen, a little phosphorus, a little bunch of other stuff. These are the macronutrients. Those phytonutrients are way different, but they are all composed to that part of that element, that nutrient-dense protein or meat, or that nutrient-dense carbohydrate called fruits and vegetables, or that nutrient-dense fat that we get in our diet.
Right. So good examples of carbohydrate, and let's just say the bad carbohydrates.
Sugar, refined sugar, refined bleached white flour. Gets absorbed fast in the gut, and our insulin levels go crazy, and we drop our sugars. That insulin's job is to get that sugar into the cell. If we don't use it, it stores it for fat. Bad.
Right.
Refined carbohydrates.
Okay. So, and I think some people say the fastest to be absorbed food, carbohydrate, is either white bread or potatoes or molasses. Have you heard that?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
The
very simple way to consume things. Right.
So give me an example of proteins. Okay. Now we've got meat. We've said meat.
Sure.
Right? What
eggs.
other proteins?
Oh, eggs are wonderful.
Eggs. People say that they're not good for you.
It's a myth. It's a myth. And if you can find the omega-3 rich eggs, the grass-fed egg, or the range-fed chicken that produces that egg, we're talking about a pack of nutrients in there.
I mean, really good for you.
It is a shame that
we have bad.
Right. We don't have any studies to say that it was ever bad for you.
We had no studies.
No studies.
We made the assumption that because there's cholesterol in the yolk, that it's bad for you.
Right.
Take that point.
The assumption, an association. Okay, the proton pump inhibitors, I'm talking about Nexium, Prilosec, omeprazole, these drugs that help with acid reflux. The media picked up on this association of causing bone problems, of causing kidney problems.
When they did the real studies?
Right. Your patients came in and says, I want off this drug. Well, wait a second. Really, you want to do that? You want to risk this, this, and this going off this drug? I guess we have to do that. They do the study. The cause and effect study did not pan out. That was not picked up on the media. A lot of these studies, or a lot of this belief in nutrition comes from the association.
But not proof.
Right. We have an association of cholesterol causing a problem. Guess what? Eggs are loaded with cholesterol.
Therefore,
it's
eggs
bad
must be
for
bad.
you.
And it's not true. They are good for you. One of the best proteins there is, has the essential amino acids, eggs.
Beautiful. Wonderful little gift.
So what other proteins do we have? We get proteins in cereals, right?
Sure.
But
soy. Soy is a big, soy protein's good.
Yeah.
And a lot of vegetarians and vegans, should probably take in some soy because there is some protein in there and some
peanuts.
Peanuts, wonderful. Right. Yeah, almonds.
Okay, so you take, that's proteins. What about fat? What are examples of fats?
Again, peanut oil, almond oil, saturated fat, animal fat. Then the good old olive oil. Then we have canola oil, vegetable oils, corn oil.
Right.
Those are the fats.
So I think that the majority of olive oil, I'll share this information I learned from the good owners of the Pheasant, which is a wonderful restaurant in Brookings. And I don't mean to promote anything, but they've got wonderful olive oil there. Virgin olive oil is one press, and that's it.
Yep.
They don't press it a third and a fourth and an eighth and then put chemicals to get the last little bit of oil out of it. It's just one press.
I've heard that from Alton Brown from Good Eats. That's where I learned it.
So what is extra virgin?
Boy,
there isn't such a thing. It is a fake thing. One squeeze is virgin olive oil.
Charge you more money.
They are lying to us.
Yeah.
So I think that the virgin olive oil is a good source of monounsaturated fat.
Correct.
Right? Okay. Yep. They've shown some study with polyunsaturated being dangerous. Now I've heard contradictions to that. In fact, the Consumers Report this week came out saying that polyunsaturated were good, but the studies on rats, it killed them.
Okay.
So polyunsaturated, not good. Monounsaturated, particularly not that processed, you know, this virgin olive oil, real virgin olive oil. Saturated fat, bad?
You know, I don't think it is. I mean, I'm doing the research now, and I did slam it in here. I mean, we're talking about these saturated fats, and the studies just don't say that it's associated with heart disease.
No, I think that the data right now, everybody's running on coconut oil, which is a saturated fat, right?
Correct.
They're saying, oh, it saves lives. I don't know if there's data, but I do know that they may be processing that. You know what is the least processed saturated fat? Butter.
It is so good.
I love butter.
I found Amish butter at the grocery store, and
No kidding.
if you're gonna get something like this, make it great. And it is a great source of butter. And it's a grass-fed animal. That it's a milk. It's the Amish. I mean, they're very pure processing. This isn't refined at all. This is just a wonderful source of a good fat. And actually, and there are studies to say that saturated fat actually don't do anything with the LDL, but increase the bigger particle of the LDL and lowers the smaller particle of the LDL. Yeah, there's two particles in the low density lipoprotein, the protein that carries cholesterol. The small particles are reduced in saturated fat, and also raises HDL. You're right.
So before we take the next thing, one last question: what would be your best food? You know, when we sit around and talk about that at my table, at our kitchen table as the kids were growing up, and we would say, okay, on a 10 scale, you know, this is a bad one, you know, maybe 2. This one is so good for you, it's a 10. So I'm going to say that the very best food is root vegetables.
I love them. Beets are wonderful. All the root vegetables are great. We grow them all here.
Sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes are great.
Really good for you. What is your favorite food? Your favorite best food? 10. What's your favorite?
Frozen custard.
Which is?
Ice cream.
Oh,
I love it. Not to plug Culver's down the street here, but it is good. If I'm gonna eat it, it's gonna be great.
Okay.
But as far as the food groups go, I mean, I love good food. I love whole foods, and I love eating them. And my wife and I enjoy that time together, and we make it at home.
Very good. Believe it or not, a healthy diet can taste good and be good for you.
Our parents and grandparents, how they grew up in a very physically active world. Not a lot of mechanical things to help us do our work every day. So we definitely have less physical activity. We have much more access to food. Food is very affordable where we live here in the United States. So carbohydrates, fats, and proteins are the 3 macronutrients that make up all the foods we eat. And realistically, your body processes each of them very differently. Excess in any area is probably going to be hard on your body no matter what. You know, excessive protein, your kidneys have to filter. Excessive carbohydrate can be hard on your pancreas to produce more insulin. So really the big focus is probably just working on balance. Vegetables and fruits are so important to add into our diet for a lot of reasons. Fruits and vegetables, because of the color, are definitely going to give us some of those vitamins and minerals and antioxidants that we need. Vegetables and fruits are also going to give you fiber, which you mentioned fiber. And fiber also has a really big role in our diet. It helps us stay fuller longer, so we don't eat as much of the other carbohydrates or fats or foods that we don't necessarily need. It also, with that fiber, it also helps us digest slower, keeping our blood sugars more even throughout the day. And it also has properties that can help us lower our cholesterol. What kind of fat is best is something that we rely on research to tell us. History tells us that the saturated fats are the ones that more commonly will make our cholesterol go up. And most of those saturated fats are going to come from animal products like butter and bacon and cream and lard. The ones that are commonly more healthy would be the unsaturated fats. So it would be your nuts and seeds, your oils like canola, olive, peanut oil. And it's also going to be your omega-3s. Those are the most heart healthy. To be honest, I usually tell people a balance of everything. The omega-3s are going to be the absolute best, but then the mono and the polyunsaturated are going to be right behind it. When we go to the grocery store and look at a box that was white that said crackers on it, you would probably buy foods less based on your feelings and how the package looks and how exciting it is, and more based on what your needs are. Focus on eating to live, not necessarily living to eat. And Focus on good, healthy, whole foods if you can. Shop the outsides of the grocery store. You'll notice once you add those fruits and vegetables and fibers and have just the right amount of fat and protein that you'll feel satisfied off of less food, off of less calories.
Welcome back, and this is a recorded show, so we're not taking your questions. We love your questions, and so when we ask for questions next week, please call in. But we've had questions and discussion issues that are plentiful, and we've got a live wire here. This guy is full of energy and full of information. Let's talk about salt. You know, salt is one of those ingredients that people have really made a lot about. In fact, Consumer Reports says we don't like salt. What do you think?
Well, and everyone, American Heart Association don't like salt. Kidney Association don't like salt. The diabetics or the dietitians don't like salt. You know, you were going to have a product and you want to make that product well and make it good and eat it and consume it and get good nutrients out of it. You're going to salt your meats. You're going to salt your vegetables. You're going to salt these sort of things. You're going to consume it. You're going to get those calories. Avoiding salt may lower your blood pressure by maybe 5 points systolic, maybe 1 point diastolic. And it's not that big a deal. The association with a high salt diet does not really cause that problem. So sodium, as you know, is salt. It keeps fluid in, and you retain fluid, and people can go into heart failure. There's some people that can't have this sort of thing, but for most of us healthy people, sodium is not a bad thing.
Right. If you've had heart trouble and you have a weak heart, we're not saying salt like crazy, but we're both agreeing on this. You know, I think salt, if you look at why the companies that make food, you know, manufacture food, salt it so much, you know, that's why soup has so much salt in it.
Yeah, it
because it preserves it and it tastes better.
Yeah.
So I think that we've got a bad rap there.
I do. I don't think it doesn't affect the kidneys like it says it does. It doesn't do anything other than maybe marginally lower the blood pressure.
Some people who have a problem with salt, you know, and they can cut out salt and their pressures go down.
Absolutely.
Okay, but not very many of them.
There are some that are salt sensitive that we do say don't know salt.
Right.
And it does retain fluid. That's its job. Go on low sodium and you're an athlete and you're getting dehydrated. That's not such a good thing.
No. How many times, you know, hyponatremia, which means low sodium in your blood levels, particularly you see people with edema that have low sodium, and sometimes you'll see people with dehydrated,
Very complicated.
so on and so forth. Very complicated issue. Some of those people, I put them on salt tablets.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're orthostatic or get dizzy when you stand up and get lightheaded. Right. Absolutely, yeah. A lot of people say, yeah, drink that water, and they drink that water, as you know. Polyuria, polydipsia, drink a lot, urinate a lot, and sodium goes down, seizures can happen. I mean, there's a lot of bad things that happen. But I think sodium, that's one myth that it should be a myth buster. I think we cracked that. Yeah. I don't think it's as bad for the good, healthy people. I just don't think it's that bad.
People talk about drinking a lot of water, pushing a lot of water. I don't think we should be pushing water like that. I mean, there's so much, just as you described, of people pushing more water than they need. They're not thirsty. They're pushing water thinking it makes their system better. And my nephrologist friend from Pierre says hogwash.
Yeah, the antidiuretic hormone kicks in. It's amazing. The kidney's an amazing organ.
Can do those things.
Can do those things, absolutely. But, and that's a big but, because it could be constipation if you don't drink enough, and you know that, and you know your patients that don't drink enough. The colon's job is to absorb the fluid, and if you don't get enough in,
but that's why you take Citracil and high fiber foods and
very good,
stool softeners.
Yeah, and water.
And some water.
8 ounces a day. 8 glasses a day of 8 ounces.
I think that it's overdone, but we can disagree. I mean, that's okay.
Call me when you're constipated, or call your doctor.
Oh, my gut is not constipated after that Whipple procedure, I'll tell you that. So people talk about eating many small meals through the day. What do you think of that?
A lot of calories. Our calories are calories. Yeah, I mean, you may consume things that are not as good for you during that time. I mean, basically, breakfast. If you're not, my feelings are, if you're not hungry, don't eat. When you're full, stop eating.
But how about, but it would keep people from eating breakfasts, and breakfasts are important.
It can be if you don't. I don't eat breakfast. I just don't. I'm not hungry in the morning. I'm not going to eat it.
Okay.
But
Eat when you're hungry.
But I lead a healthier lifestyle. I don't go to work always, but I don't go to work and find that donut or those hot tamales, which I do like, by the way. And but I don't go there and do that all the time because I do try to eat healthier, and I do try to maintain my weight that way. But you know, what happens is that people that do these sort of things, they're eating all day long, and it's just
not good.
It's just not that good. I just think that they're not going to. They're going to get the. It doesn't improve your metabolism. That's the myth.
Okay.
Number one, it does not improve your metabolism. I'll tell you that right now. The studies suggest that it does not improve the metabolism.
All right. I would say in the same vein that when you're not thirsty, you don't need to force water.
I agree.
Okay. Now let's talk about whole wheat, high fiber. You know, the high fiber whole thing about and the whole issue of gluten.
Right.
So what do you think about gluten enteropathy? And there are a lot of people who don't have it, but they're on a low gluten diet. What do you think of that?
Well, I do know like 1% of probably the population has a gluten allergy called celiac disease. I think we all know that. But there's a lot of people with the gluten sensitivity, something that the gluten, which is a protein, and they do have an immune response to this, an inflammatory response. This leaky gut that you hear about, the villi of the duodenum, which absorbs tons of nutrients in the small bowel, gets atrophied or reduced, and
when they're inflamed
from
the
gluten. Correct. Right.
Yeah, the gluten is that glue that holds the wheat so that you can make it the bread right.
It doesn't fall apart. Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's nice. I'm glad I'm not gluten sensitive, and I'll tell you that because I do like bread. I think. Look at the history of the world, 4 billion year history. We make the best bread ever in the history of the world. I just am not going to give it up.
Okay. I do know that some people really do feel better off of gluten,
Yes,
even
I
when they
that.
don't have sprue or gluten sensitive.
I believe that. I do. I think if you look at what's happened to the wheat product, though, in my research on this, back in the 1960s, they started to modify it, genetically crossing it with other brands, and the process of refining it again has taken the good stuff out of it. They left the endospore, which is all the gluten and the carbohydrate and the starch, and it's left that.
They
bleach it, and all the good stuff is gone out of it, and the nutrient value of the wheat product has gone down since probably the 1960s, since they started doing all this.
Right. Do you think that genetically modified plants are dangerous or cause problems? You have an opinion on that?
You know, I love science, and I like the technology of science and what we have done in genetically. And we've been able to feed the world because of our genetically modified ability. We've caused maybe disease now because of what we've done with perhaps the wheat. But I think for the most part, you know, I think there's far more benefits out of it than there are risks.
And if you look at the old way of doing genetic modifying is, okay, I like that corn size. We're going to cross that with this other one. That one's bigger. Now it's bigger. You know, it's the it's the way you make dogs make small or bigger.
And what they're doing is they're trying to modify a product that is resistant to mold and to insects. You know, when we have a farm bill again, we need guys like you on the committees involved with the farm bill. We need nutritionists involved with the farm bill because these are the things that the farm bill is trying to produce.
So, here's a cup of coffee to you, Kevin. What do you think about coffee?
It's great. It is great. We get more phytonutrients, the antioxidants out of our coffee than we do all day long with anything we eat. There's tons of nutrients in it. Black coffee, don't add all the calories into it. It's 0 calories in this.
0 calories?
0 calories in black coffee.
And it
you go to Starbucks and you want to get a latte with the whipped cream and everything like that, 700 calories.
Yep, goes up to 700 calories.
Yep.
That brings us to, and I'm a big coffee drinker, but I'm a Norwegian coffee drinker. At the last ACP meeting, the internal medicine meeting, which I wish you were there. You need to come to those meetings. The last ACP meeting, they talked about seizures from too many cups of Turkish coffee. And I said, that's not a problem because I drink Norwegian cook's kitchen coffee from...
You put an egg in it.
So no, that's true. They say that there's some danger with that egg, but anyway, the long and the short of it is it's weak as I'll get out, and it's just a joy to have 14 cups of coffee in the morning as I'm preparing for this show or writing this or that. So.
Tons of nutrients. Studies suggest that you can reduce, in men, 4 cups a day in men, you can reduce diabetes by 50%, black coffee. In women by 25%.
So unless it upsets your stomach, if it upsets your stomach, that's another story.
Or if you have like heart palpitations, you know, irregular heart rate, your doctor says, watch the caffeine, yeah.
And moderation.
And moderation of everything.
Of everything.
Right.
But you talked about 700 calories. So one of the things that I mentioned in my nutrient class, I had a group of people, 70 years of age, and we did a research project, but everybody got the nutritional education. I talked about the calories that are in the food that we eat. And the studies, no question about it, the most powerful thing you can do to reduce your vascular disease risk is less calories. Now, it may not, some people are heavy, some people are not heavy. The eating less calories doesn't necessarily make you thinner.
Right.
It just doesn't. A lot of heavy people eat less than skinny people. It's just a kind of a genetic thing.
Right.
But the calories, less calories means less vascular disease. If you've got coronary disease, or you've got strokes, or you've got a risk for those things, lower calories.
Right.
And so how do you do that? You count calories.
You
What do
can,
think?
well, yeah, that's the science. The science suggests that you count calories, but it's hard. I mean, it's really hard to sit there all day long and do that. You can get used to saying, well, this apple's 100 calories, this glass of wine's 100 calories, and that's an easy thing to do. But when you start mixing all these ingredients into your spaghetti, it's really a lot harder. And you know, but and calories are one thing, but you know, if you look at how it's all processed in the body, that's a different story. Yeah. They go through different pathways, hormonal pathways, stimulating different things. Proteins do something different. Sugars, refined sugars do something different. Fats do something different. So all these things are processed. When someone loses weight, where does that weight go?
Yeah.
It goes into the air as carbon dioxide through the Krebs cycle. You remember all that? Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Well, I don't remember the Krebs cycle.
There's people that don't know that we are carbon emitters. We take carbon in, we emit it. We can't create it nor destroy it. We have to process it.
Yeah.
We store it if we take too much in, and we have to emit it through exercise. And that's really essentially kind of the nuts and bolts of weight loss.
I think the idea of 1,500 calories is a good idea to aim for, and use your smartphone. Do you ever check your calorie count on something?
Yeah.
I'm
not that smart to let my kids do that.
So I went to Applebee's with my wife and my daughter, our daughter, and I ordered the steak with a vegetable and something else, and it was 300 calories, 350 calories.
You found that just like that?
Yeah. Well, it was on the Applebee menu.
Oh, okay.
Eat the low calorie thing. Yes, I want it.
Yeah.
She
you
ordered.
can barcode it, and it'll tell you how many calories just by
Can you?
snapshot. Yeah.
She said she ordered a salad. She had a crispy chicken salad, and it was a pretty big salad, and it was 1,200 calories, three times the calories than my steak and meal. So, you know, and Culver's is we went through the list. If you go out for supper, you've got to be careful. Some of these places are a lot of calories.
Right.
Yeah. No.
You are what you eat. Yes. And if it's frozen custard, I'll take it.
Okay. All right. So after all that stuff about calories, let's talk about flavor. Variety is the spice of life, and sometimes spice increases the variety of life.
The diets, they vary a lot because they are from different regions, like in US and in India. Because of the resources, one thing that's a difference of diet. The other thing is that the spices make a lot of difference. There are lots of spices. I just brought a few of here to talk about that. Turmeric, I mean, it's an all-round spice that can be used for anything, from your everyday cooking, plus if you have a cold, you can use it. If you have a sprained ankle, you can use it. Ajwain also is very good for you because it helps your digestion, it helps with your gastric problems. Whenever you're cooking with anything with the beans or any high fiber diet food, then you want to add ajwain to it. That really helps digest and get rid of the gas and gastric problems. Black cardamoms, they grow in northern India. And that's the only place they grow. It is used mostly in northern India in their curries. Black cardamom helps with the acidity. If you have acidic problems, then you can use that. It's really good, and I personally have used it, and it has helped me. Then you have your nutmeg. Nutmeg, of course, gives a nice flavor to your desserts and all the food, and also it has kind of a chemical that helps you make sleep. And fennel also is good for your digestion, also good mouth freshener. Cardamom, of course, it has the, when you go to the dentist, they use the Novocaine that has the oils of the cloves. And cardamom also very good, similar to green cardamom grows in southern India. So two difference, one is green and one black. Cinnamon is an all-round spice, good for you everywhere. Saffron comes from a crocus flower, a stigma of a crocus flower. So when you pick up flower, it's a purple flower, it has two stigmas, so you have to collect like thousands of pounds of crocuses to make this much saffron. So this is, it's called acetophyta. It is used like a pinch in your food. Not so much because it's very pungent, but it has a little sweeter taste when you add it to it, and it's very good for your body. It helps your brain function better, and it charges your brain in a way. I would like to have them use more spices in their diet, and don't be afraid of spices. It's really beneficial to use, and don't be afraid, use anything. It doesn't have any side effects. So that would be my thing, to have them use more and incorporate more spices in their diet.
All right, that was great. Thank you, Harsha. Dear lady, wonderful person, and look what a talent, and man, can she cook. Oh, so she talked about the different spices. What do you think about the exotic flavors, and do you recommend to patients slightly exotic diets, or you keep, what do you recommend as far as spicing goes?
Jeeper, if they like it, eat it. I mean, the things that she was showing on that video was just fabulous stuff. I mean, if you can find it fresh, wonderful. If you can store it in your cabinets and use it later, that's great. I mean, I love spices. I mean, I love food. Yeah. And food is not the root of evil. I mean, this is nutrients, and she's talking about these nutrients in these gifts of spices for our food. It's wonderful.
What about the nutrients? People sometimes will take vitamin this or this nutrient or that nutrient at the health food store. Is that the proper thing to do?
If they're eating at McDonald's, if they're they're the Burger King diet, so to speak, if this is what they do, then yeah, I think they ought to take some supplement because those nutrients in there, they've been washed out, they've been processed out. The value there is so much lower. But if you can find it in your whole fruits and vegetables and meats,
much better sources.
Much better sources.
They used to look at beta carotene, that you get in carrots, and they've shown eating carrots that it raises these particular elements, and you do better. And there's been so they put it in a pill,
yeah,
and it didn't do what it's supposed to do, and it did some harm.
Yep.
So my sense is that supplements are not necessarily good, excepting vitamin D, B12. Those are my favorite.
Yeah, mine too.
What do you think?
I like them. Aspirin, throw that in there as a supplement just for stroke and heart attack prevention if you're over 40 or 50 and have risk factors. Calcium, probably. Interesting with calcium too, because calcium forms kidney stones, as you know. Calcium oxalate, 70% of the stones are calcium oxalate. We tell our patients, or we used to tell our patients, that calcium, avoid it because you're going to get kidney stones. Is the wrong thing to do. You have to take it into your gut to absorb, to bind the oxalate in your gut so you don't get oxalate in your kidneys. That's how you prevent kidney stones.
It's the opposite.
Just the opposite.
It's
what we were taught. Just the opposite.
Just the opposite. Well, we've talked about nutrients. the FDA was feeling really pretty good about getting a label working and standardized label for everybody. So then they decided they were going to go after supplements.
Right.
And the government said, no, stay away from supplements.
I know.
And so now we have supplements that not necessarily have what they say they have in it.
Correct.
And then, or they may have more than what they say, and all sorts of other stuff in it.
Yes.
So I'm a little nervous about supplements.
I am too, and I see a lot of our patients come in with a bag full of, doctor, I take a lot of pills, and I sort through, and I say, why are you taking this? Why are you taking this? And you know, there's no evidence. The Harvard study, longevity study on a lot of our colleagues ahead of us that went on this study back when they were in med school, it didn't pan out. So I think they're wasting their money, yes.
The multiple vitamin, no data.
No data.
The
No
women's
data.
study in particular.
The Women's Health Initiative study, no data.
What about on the women's health study, a glass of wine?
You know, I think that was okay, but
Increased their longevity.
yeah.
I mean, it was.
And they also did a nutritional study in the Women's Health Initiative study. They're not just hormonal postmenopausal women.
Yeah.
The hormones they studied, but they also studied nutrition, and they did the two cohorts with a low-fat diet and a standard American diet. And we were always told that the low-fat diet is the way to go. So all of these industries made low-fat products, but to make that product good, they put in sugars, they put in other things in there.
Carbohydrates.
Yes, to make that product taste good. So we had a high sugar, low fat product in our dressings, in candies and junk food, period. The Women's Health Initiative study said they did not change the weight. It didn't make a single difference in their health
Right.
by going low fat.
No, and in fact, the New England Journal had two studies back to back that looked at low-fat diet versus low-carbohydrate diet, because people were talking about these low-carbohydrate fad diets from
Atkins.
California, the
Right,
Atkins diet,
right.
And so the Atkins diet versus the low-fat diet, and they found that the people who were on the low-carbohydrate diet lost weight, more weight, faster, enjoyed it better.
Right.
Did better, everything worked out better.
Weren't as
except-
hungry.
Weren't as hungry, everything. Cholesterol went down. I mean,
Right.
if you care about that. At the end of a year, however, they all gained the weight again.
Right.
Nothing seems to be able to keep it off.
Lifestyle.
So I think the data is that low carbohydrate, not low fat, is
Right.
the right way to go.
I do believe that. I really do. And I'm, looking at all the data on low carbohydrate, but you have to get the nutrient-dense foods when you do this. Low carbs does not mean, you still need those phytonutrients and carbohydrates, and that's your whole fruits and vegetables. Very low calorie. I just had watermelon, Forsberg watermelon. Oh, I love it. Nutrient dense, high in sugars, but loaded with nutrients.
Well, it's natural sugar.
It's a natural sugar, and it's just wonderful. And I just consumed it, just almost the whole watermelon before I got here.
I want.
I have to go to the bathroom now, but
So I wanted to talk about different kinds of artificial sweeteners, but let's talk about the Farm Bill of '96 first.
yeah, it's interesting because there was a big debate about the Farm Bill, and I did write about that in my book. And we started talking about childhood obesity probably 5 or 6, 7 years after that bill was produced. Basically, what the farmers were allowed to do is to plant. And to plant in massive quantities. And they did corn, and they did a lot of corn. So they took this corn and they sold the high yields, the big producers did, and they were able to make out of that corn high fructose corn syrup. Cheap syrup.
Supplemented by the government.
Yes, all of it. And so they were able to take this can of Coke. The price of the can of Coke actually went down, and the price of whole fruits and vegetables during that time went up. We started seeing all this cheap food. You go to the grocery aisle, you see, all all the processed foods, and all cheap and very inexpensive, and all really junk food that people started to consume. Kids started to consume. We started seeing childhood obesity. Makes sense. 5, 6, 7 years after the Farm Bill. So that's why, if there's a chance to be on those committees, to be in that committee room, they should have not just our legislators there, they should have health care, the Health and Human Services should be in that Farm Bill, along with the Ag.
Right, or you should be in that room.
Well, you should.
Okay.
I'm too busy.
So let's go to artificial sweeteners. So I'm not wanting that high octane fructose
Sure.
sugary drink. I'm going to be drinking diet something. What about diet sweeteners?
You know, when you drink a Diet Coke, you get the 0 calories. You know, it's the phosphates that just kick your teeth to death, and it causes dentation problems and that sort of a thing. The studies on sugars, the supplemental sugars, the artificial sweeteners, just haven't panned out. When you throw all of these into a rat study, which is what we use a lot of our studies based on, it took a lot of these artificial sweeteners to really cause an effect in those rats.
Right. Although some of them are a little bit more dangerous than others. And I read the Consumers Report review of this about a year ago, and they said their favorite was stevia or...
That's a natural sugar, right?
Yeah.
Out of, I think South America, right?
Right. So
you can grow it right in your backyard.
I grew it in my garden.
Go. Yeah.
I just didn't use it.
It needed water. Did they tell you that? Yeah.
No, I've been raising peppers, and we'll give you a bottle of hot pepper vinegar sauce.
Oh, wow.
It's
Very
really good. Very
good.
tasty. So I think when we're talking about asking for farm free-range cattle, how do you get that in your grocery store? You push your grocery?
Yep, that's what you do. The consumer wants it. They will supply it. We're seeing more and more of it. Actually, some of my rancher friends who were into the buffalo actually sold grass-fed meats to Walmart, and they took the product in Rapid City.
You know, I like, if you go through it and you look at it, you can see that here is no antibiotics in this chicken.
Correct.
Versus this chicken that's 20% cheaper.
Right.
I'm going to go with the no antibiotic one.
Right. Absolutely.
And I think pushing our grocers to have grass-fed beef, but you can find them sometimes at farmers markets.
Yep. Oh, you can, and you know, if you find a supplier, the internet's loaded with suppliers. A lot of my friends that do this do it on the internet, and they will ship it to you.
Oh.
Ideal Wild Buffalo out of Rapid City, Dan O'Brien and Jill O'Brien, wonderful product, just a wonderful product. I'm not trying to plug that, but it is just.
And so, how would you find him?
Just on the internet.
What was it called?
I even wrote a testimonial to my book, so I mean, I hate to plug him, but
plug him.
But I did.
Say it again.
He's a good Dan O'Brien. He's an author, and Jill O'Brien, his wife.
So you really spoke last time. The very first time you were on the show, we talked about buffalo meat. Talk to me about buffalo meat.
It's grass-fed. It's a nutrient dense. It has all the amino acids, 22 amino acids that 9 essential amino acids that we need. We can only get in our diet. It has it. And if it's grass-fed, it's high in omega-3. You start putting those into a feedlot, feeding it corn. Corn is omega-6. That goes up. Omega-3 goes down, and you have just a very nutrient-poor piece of meat. That's not just the buffalo, but it's any type of beef that we eat.
I remember last time you spoke to me about this a little bit before the show about canola oil. Did you know that canola oil is actually rapeseed oil?
Yes.
And it was named because they raise the rapeseed and process it in Canada. So it's Canada oil.
And they make it in North Dakota too. Yeah.
And North Dakota.
Yep.
But you have to have a really fine filter to catch the rapeseed because it's so small. But the problem with it is, like all of them, or many of them, is they are processed and processed again and processed again.
Right. And a lot of the nutrients go out of it.
Right. You heat it, you add chemicals.
Right.
I like the virgin olive oil. All right. Extra virgin.
Very good.
So let's talk about, if you were going to say lessons that you've learned about nutrition in your life.
You know, the recipe, if you think about the science behind it now, is you can't create it nor destroy it, and that's carbon, and that's carbohydrate, that's fat, and that's protein. You consume this in, and that's a calorie. We need that for energy. It's important, it's vital. We have to take less in.
Right.
That's it. You want to lower your cholesterol? Starve. 1 day.
Take 1 day off of
1 day off of eating, fasting.
Yeah.
You want to lose weight that way? 1 day.
1 day a week?
Fasting. 1 day a week.
Yeah.
And
water only?
Yep, water is fine. Water, coffee, of course.
So what day do you fast?
Tuesday.
You fast on Tuesdays?
I do.
And so what do you eat the whole day?
Water and coffee.
And coffee.
Yes.
There we go. So we have a myth about eating fat in particular. If you want to lose weight, you need to eat less fat. And I think we need to talk about that a little bit more. We kind of dived into it.
I think so. Fat is satiety, early satiety. What the Dean Ornish diet, if you remember in the 1990s, Ornish was just all fruits and vegetables, all fiber, all fiber, all fiber. I tried that. I was so hungry after I ate all of that. I had to eat more. You go to eat Chinese food, you're always hungry after you eat. That's the reason why. Fat causes satiety and makes you full.
It slows down, the GI tract.
You want to lose weight and you really want a cheap way to lose it, a handful of almonds. There's 250 calories in a handful, but you will get full and you won't eat as much.
So, and we did talk about good fats and bad fats.
Correct.
The best fat I like is butter. Of course, it can smoke, and so you need to cook with.
Yeah, just put a little olive oil in it. I hear it prevents the smoking.
Oh, really?
If you want to just do some onions.
Yeah.
And do your butter, throw just a tablespoon or a little bit of olive oil in it.
Yeah.
Extra virgin or virgin, that'd be fine. And it'll lower the smoking point of the olive oil.
Wow. Of the
butter. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yes.
So, what do you think of avocados?
We can't grow them here as much. I'm trying to grow those in another place that we own, but I think that is, again, believe it or not, a genetically modified fruit, or is it a fruit? I think it is.
Yeah.
It's a the best avocados come from one stem line, and they are able to reproduce that. They can actually engraft it into another stem and grow that same avocado lineage.
Yeah.
So those are the best ones.
I have heard that bananas is one stem line, that almost every banana is a brother to all of the other bananas.
And they're probably nutrient dense.
And so let's talk about dairy. Dairy, they say that of course, that whole process really reached a high level in the northern Western Europe. And that the whole world can drink milk. 20% can drink milk as an adult and 80% cannot, except Northern Europe. And it's 80% can drink milk and 20% cannot, because apparently it was the only food they had.
Yeah.
And so the people who could drink it had a survival advantage. What do you think about it?
Lucky us.
Yeah, lucky us. I guess that's really true.
Right.
Milk is a wonderful thing.
When I went to a conference, and the specialist in gastroenterology said everyone has a lactose intolerance. He doesn't care. He thinks everyone is lactose intolerant. I think dairy, even the high-fat dairy, it's just whole milk, is probably not as bad for you as you think it is.
Right.
And I think it provides a lot of nutrients for a lot of people, a lot of protein, where some people aren't getting it, and that's our children in grade school. And so I do like the milk.
It provides a certain amount of calcium.
It really does. And calcium, too, prevent kidney stones if you have a high oxalate diet.
Now, I've heard also that if you don't drink milk for 3 weeks and then you drink a glass, you're going to have diarrhea. You're going to have milk intolerance. If you gradually increase the amount of milk that you're drinking, you can get it up without causing some problem.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good approach. I like that.
So you're a fan of milk, and
I do, and I've had whole milk, slightly pasteurized, grass-fed, amazing. I don't like the milk I buy in a grocery store.
Okay. 10 seconds. Final word.
It's a great show, Rick, and I've been with you for 16 years, and I'm really quite honored to be here again.
Well,
I have learned so much listening to you from your radio days, from using the thing called Citrusel all the way to every time I watch you. So thanks for everything you do.
You're very welcome. And now for the answer to tonight's Prairie Doc quiz question. True or false, egg yolks should be avoided because they are high in cholesterol, which drives heart disease? After years of thinking this was true, I guess the yolk is on us. The answer is false. Despite eggs being high in cholesterol, they do not raise blood cholesterol or increase heart disease. We'll be right back after this.
All around town, from stores to playgrounds, babies are on the move. And there are diseases that are on the move too. And some of these spread easily. To best protect him from 14 serious diseases by the time he turns 2 years old, vaccinate him according to the recommended schedule, so he can go on about his business and you can have peace of mind. For more reasons to vaccinate, talk to your child's doctor or go to cdc.gov/vaccines.
While running with a scientist friend who had recently suffered a small heart attack, we talked about cardiac rehabilitation and safe running to help his recovery. He was happy to be back running, and as I was recovering from cancer surgery, I was also happy to be back running. If not overdone, we know that those with and without heart disease do better by regularly exercising. I could feel the run was rebuilding my strength and savored the social time running with a friend. When we finished, energized and happy, a short cool-down walk brought us to his home. There, his wife prepared a light morning breakfast of 2 eggs, nicely spiced with salt and pepper, a small patty of pork sausage, sliced fried bell peppers, pieces of fresh melon on the side, and coffee. It was delicious in just the right amount. 20 years ago, an eggs and sausage meal was thought to be a big no-no. Now, new science has discovered it is not the fat and protein in a diet that causes atherosclerosis, but rather it's the excessive calories. More treacherous than type of food is quantity of food. If this doesn't shake your world enough, we have also learned that processed carbohydrates are bad, while a balanced diet of proteins, fats, and small amounts of non-processed carbohydrates are good. For example, large helpings of carbohydrates like potatoes, pasta, pancakes, bread, or donuts can be harmful. Smaller amounts of foods like eggs and sausage are safe. That morning, the calorie count for each of us was about 300, and we both felt great. Every day, there seems another study that advises the opposite of what we used to think. Eat less salt, now salt to taste unless the heart is weak. Don't eat butter, now butter is caloric but safe. Don't exercise too much, now do it every day. Don't drink alcohol, now a glass daily of wine is good. And finally, don't eat fatty meals. Now eat fewer calories and avoid processed carbohydrates. We have always known about the health benefits of friendship, and no one has refuted that. In summary, researchers have made headway in understanding what is good for us. May we embrace the science that supports eating fewer calories, less processed carbohydrates, and more fruits and vegetables. If we can also find time for a daily 30-minute stretch of exercise and some quality time with friends, then we have the perfect formula for good health. A big thank you to our guest from Rapid City Medical Center, Dr. Kevin Weiland. Thank you so much, Kevin, for volunteering to travel to Brookings to join us in the studio here tonight. Well, that does it for tonight. From all of us here at On Call with the Prairie Doc, until next time, stay healthy out there, people.
Major funding for On Call with the Prairie Doc has been provided by
Avera is a proud sponsor of On Call on South Dakota Public Broadcasting.
Larson Manufacturing is proud to support On Call Television as it continues to open doors for important medical information.
and by the South Dakota Foundation for Medical Care, the Medicare Quality Improvement Organization for South Dakota, and with the ongoing support of these individuals and institutions. Brookings Health System, Ophthalmology Limited, Avera Heart Hospital, Dakota Allergy and Asthma, Fishback Financial Corporation, Vance Thompson Vision, Aberdeen District Medical Society, Black Hills Medical Society, Dakota Bank, Orthopedic Institute, Physicians Care Sanford Clinic Community Service Committee, and Swiftel Communications.